Hi everyone, it's great to have you with us today for our daily reflection. And today I've been thinking a bit about Christmas. We're all counting down to Christmas, and it's coming sooner and sooner than we might like to think. But today was the day that the Christmas service tickets, if you like, went live on our website, and would you believe it? We had a huge amount of demand for those tickets. In fact, they sold out within an hour. I mean, sold out's a bit of a controversial word. We weren't charging for them, but they were gone. They were given out within an hour. But with that has that huge complication of one being amazing that some people are able to gather in our building for worship, and others have been struck by disappointment and upset because they haven't been able to get tickets. And we all know the challenges of a COVID-19 world with all the social distancing and spacing and everything else, and the hygiene rules, which has just caused us to have to reduce capacity so significantly that it would be limited to sell out so quickly. And in reality, really, in honesty with you, I find that situation a bit of a awful, frustrating, upsetting, unsatisfactory situation, because I would have loved, and I know my colleagues would have loved, to have been able to throw the doors open to the cathedral like we normally do and invite as many people as humanly possible into that space. But that would have been both dangerous, irresponsible, and unlawful. So we are not able to do that. And we tried to make the system as fair as possible, but there is, of course, going to be some people who are going to be disappointed and have that sense of disappointment and dislocation because either they haven't been able to go to the services they wanted to go to, and they're going to different ones, or maybe just they haven't been able to get to any at all, or maybe they've not going to as many services over Christmas as they might do in normal years. And for that, we're truly sorry. It is heartbreaking that you're not able to join with us in our normal way. But it did get me thinking for this daily reflection that what does Christmas look like for what's it this year for the people of God to worship and to gather at this time? So what does it look like in this exceptional year for the people of God to worship and gather together? Well, the first thing that struck me was a bit of reading I did a while back where I read about a guy called Edward Hall, who in 1966 wrote a book about the hidden dimension, all about the interaction of human beings observing and identifying how people interact differently in different spaces. And he identified 4 different spaces. He identified public space, the big space like the cathedral, where we can get hundreds and thousands of people in. Hundreds or thousands, not hundreds and thousands, but hundreds or thousands of people into the building, and we can have a great celebration, but where people can be, if you like, sort of anonymous, and it's normally gathered around something where you're gathering to hear someone, like a tech launch or football or sport or something like that, but you get the idea. And then we have social space, which are sort of mid-sized groups, which are 20 to sort of 50 people, and they normally know each other and have a set of sort of common values and things like that. And then we have personal space, which is about 4 to 12 people, and they have a strong sense of connection between those people. And then we have intimate space, which is between 2 and 3 people, who are deeply connected to each other and share everything. And I think these spaces are fascinating, really, when you think about it, for their implications for life and for ministry, but they're also pretty intuitive. And when we look through the Gospels, we even see Jesus operating in each of these different spaces with different purposes and different reasons. And so this Christmas, this COVID Christmas, we see that the public and the social space have pretty much been obliterated. They've disappeared as we know them. And even if you could manage to book a service, it's not going to look anything like it used to look, and how you'd normally go to that. So this Christmas, we must worship and we must gather in those personal spaces and those intimate spaces. Those personal spaces when we get the chance for our bubbles to come together for Christmas, those few days over Christmas, and those intimate spaces perhaps with people we live with or are in support bubbles with throughout the year. And in this sense, by entering into those spaces deliberately as church, as people, as human beings, and thinking about them as faith spaces, we are embodying the sense that the church is not just somewhere where we go, but that it's the spiritual body, the body of the church that we all belong to. Faith isn't just something to be spoken about from the pulpit by the experts and the qualified who have brought things to us. Actually, faith in this season, in those intimate and personal spaces, I think looks like inviting God into the rough and tumble, the rough and ready nature of everyday life. I mean, what does that look like? Imagine for a second with me, we're at home and we're thinking about how we can be church and do church with those people around us, those people who maybe we haven't had faith discussions with for a while. Just imagine maybe children, grandchildren, friends coming together in that Christmas bubble and designing a carol service at home where everyone can join in, and we're able to tell people about the hope and the joy we have in Christ. Imagine discussions of faith going on around the dinner table as people get together, where we're able to explore faith, life and meaning together, where we've been deliberate about bringing faith into the home setting. Imagine when we're doing video calls for prayer. We might organise video calls for prayer and singing with friends because we need to come before God, our Maker, to worship together, to gather together, to lift our spirits, to focus our eyes on the Creator of all things, the one who is for us. Imagine telling the story once again to those gathered around of the birth of Jesus, and being able to tell them that in a new and different way, in a different environment. Imagine making space to join in with one of the streamed services, setting the space and the time apart. You see, this Christmas, our homes are the front line of faith and mission. They aren't just places we go to having been and done religion. They are the places where we live out and share our faith. And we must be doing that now more than ever. And I think that's the call that we have, because in the disappointment, we see such a wide range of opportunities for both young and old to be creative, to invite God into our homes, to deliberately make the reason for the season central to everything we do over those few days at Christmas and in Advent leading up to it. So maybe the disappointment is significant for some of you. But I think this moment might be an invitation to a journey of personal discipleship, of walking with Jesus one-to-one in faith, of walking in faith with those closest to you, maybe who you've not shared faith with in some time. Maybe this year, God is calling you as an individual to bring your faith from the public spaces, from the going to those spaces in your life, those intimate and personal spaces where only you uniquely can share faith in a powerful and authentic way. And in doing so, perhaps this year we will see Jesus in a new light once again in our homes. That's what I've got for you today. I do hope that you're able to share faith in your homes, to make Jesus known in your home settings. And if you are someone who is upset because they haven't managed to get the tickets, we're truly sorry. We know how difficult and painful that must be for you. And we want to journey with you. And we hope and pray that you can join with us as we stream our services over this Christmas. God bless, and I'll catch you again soon.